Vintage Nationals today, and I've got an exciting little video I'm putting together for you. I'm actually going to answer what I think are the 6 most popular questions people ask when they call in thinking about buying their first National guitar. You can certainly go to nationalguitar.com and see a lot more videos and educational materials about National guitars. And if you're trying to learn about National guitars, that is the place on the web to go to learn about National guitars, which is nationalguitar.com. Okay, first question I get asked when people call is, should I go with a single cone or a tricone? And that's a good question, and it has to do with what you're going to play and the kind of sound and tone you're looking for. Right now I'm holding a 1934 Style O in my hands, which is a single cone guitar. I'm actually holding in my hand here an original cone from a 1936 Duolian. So you can get a little feel for how this sits underneath this cover plate right here. This is a single cone, and I'll let you see it a little closer. This one actually has a little felt on the bottom that someone added over the years. You can see the biscuit is still on top of the cone right there, along with the saddle. Another interesting thing you'll see, this saddle is really low right now, lower than it probably was by quite a bit when it left the factory, and that's because as the neck pulled up over time, various luthiers over the years ground this saddle down lower and lower and lower to try to get the action back down. And what you get when that happens is a great deal of loss of pressure on the cone, which should be on there. So when we do a neck reset on these guitars, when they need it, and they usually do, we'll put a new saddle on there and it'll be taller and correct to the guitar itself. So anyways, that's a single cone. This is made out of an alloy. It's very thin, very light, and easily cracked and damaged if you don't take good care of it. What you're going to get with the single cone is more of an attack. It's going to be more, and I don't like to use the word banjo-like, but it's going to be more where it's loud in your face and it decays very, very quickly. So that's a single cone. I'm going to play a tricone right now, which has 3 cones, and give you a little taste of the difference between those 2 instruments, so you can make that first judgment. Okay, now I'm holding a tricone in my hand. This is a new German silver National reso-phonic tricone. Gorgeous instrument. They've domed the back on them now and made them out of German silver, which is a great improvement. Right away you can hear, well, let's take a look at the cones. Now, I have a set of vintage cones in my hand. This guitar has 3 cones inside it. It has a single cone here, a single cone here, and a single cone here. And there's actually a T-bridge that sits under this T that sits on top of these 3 cones as they sit in the body. So you've got 3 cones vibrating instead of 1. Now what you're going to get with that in general, not quite the same volume and attack as you get on the single cone, but a lot more sustain. Notice how that rings a lot longer. So it's really smooth and silky kind of tone, not as much in your face. And of course you can play anything fingerstyle, slide guitar, on any of these guitars. So you get not quite the volume, that note will ring longer. Both have the same action, both play the same, feeling wise, fingerstyle, picking it. I've got a friend that just bought one of these. He thought he was going to play a lot of slide on it, and he's playing nothing but fingerstyle on it. And he's put out some great music. He's a professional player, and I've heard some of his recordings already. So you can do anything on either of these guitars. Let's make that straight. But in general, tricone, not as much volume, more sustain. The note's going to ring longer, so that's something to keep in mind when you're making your choice there. A lot of guys, a lot of old blues guys played single cones and they played a National, but remember, a Style O like I just played was 6250 A tricone at the same period in time was $125 in the early 1930s. So that had something to do with it too. Tampa Red was probably the most well-known tricone player. And he was a professional musician making some good money in the day. Okay, so there's single cone versus tricone.